since I'm revisiting all of the Friday the 13th films, I thought it would be fun to do a video giving a couple recommendations of, fairly lesser known slasher films. Now, some of these will be obvious ones, but you never know. There's people out there. These are films that aren't really like more of the mainstream slasher films of the 80s. Obviously in horror circles, a few of these will be like, well, duh. Something like, for instance, Pieces. This is a film that a lot of horror fans have seen, for sure. But in case you haven't, this is a total blast. I can't recommend it high enough as far as a slasher film goes. So if you haven't seen it for some reason, check it out. Another one that's pretty obvious, but you never know, as I said. I just kind of grabbed a bunch of random slashers. This isn't like a top 10 or anything. This is just a fun little, I'm in the mood for slasher films right now because I'm watching the Friday the 13th series. And I thought I'd share a few random ones with you guys. Another one, which is the main inspiration for Friday the 13th, Mario Bava's A Bay of Blood, aka Twitch of the Death Nerve. Oh man, get this Blu-ray if you don't have it. The Kino transfers, especially for the Bava films, I have every one of them. They're fucking magnificent. They're such beautiful transfers. They do such a glorious job with these. I couldn't recommend picking these up more. Pick up all the Kino classics if you can. Another, Arrow. Thank you, Arrow, for everything you're putting out, especially a movie that skipped DVD and went straight to Blu-ray because of Arrow. A film that was up until very recently pretty much completely unknown. Now in the horror circles within the last year, it's becoming a little more known, but still. Blood Rage. Oh man, what a cool one. And this is one of the only slashers set on Thanksgiving. Very, very rare that holiday gets a slasher movie or any horror movie at all. But this is one. I will definitely be reviewing this for Thanksgiving. Absolutely. This is the best Thanksgiving themed horror film ever, in my opinion. Yes, I've seen both Thanksgivings. They're not even close. Another one, thanks to Arrow, that got a Blu-ray release, and it's a wonderful Blu-ray, is the wonderful Mutilator. Oh, another fantastic film. I love the opening of this film. I love what sets off the killer and how all of that's done. Yet another one I can't recommend high enough. It was also called Fall Break. All these movies have like a bunch of different titles, but like Blood Rage had a few different titles. But God, these Arrow transfers are glorious as well. Now, getting into some lesser known ones. Well, I guess I should do one more that's a little bit more obvious. Tourist Trap. This predates Friday the 13th. This is actually a 1970s film. It came out in 79, if I remember correctly. And it has one of the creepiest masks. And that opening scene, one of the opening scene kill in this film is just creepy and eerie. And I adore it. I love the premise of this film. I love what the killer ends up being. So, yeah. If you haven't seen Tourist Trap, man. And if you haven't seen any of these, obviously, I'm going to keep saying that, but going on. Alright, so as I said, let's get into a little bit more unknown stuff. Welcome to Spring Break, aka Nightmare Beach. This is a really fun one. This is a guy who is, a motorcycle gang leader who is executed. And then he comes back to ride around on his motorcycle and shocks people to death with his killer electric motorcycle. Oh man, what a cool movie. I really like that one. These are, as I said, these are just ones I was like peeking through my thing. I'm sure there's plenty others up there that I could recommend for sure. but these were just the ones that really stood out to me as I was scanning past them. Next up, the two sequels to a very popular film in the horror series, but I don't hear enough people talking about how awesome Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3 are. These are such fun follow-ups. Now, the first one is definitely way more serious, and these are way more tongue-in-cheek, but they are great slasher movies. And what makes a great slasher film, and this is something I was addressing in an earlier video, where I said that I don't think that Halloween is a slasher film, because to me, a slasher film has a high body count, lots of gore, tons of nudity, stuff like that. And Halloween just doesn't have that kind of stuff. I think that some of the later installments in the Halloween franchise, like Halloween 4 or even Halloween 2, is more of a slasher film. But Halloween 1 doesn't fall into the slasher category for me. Another fabulous slasher film is Don't Go in the House. Donnie Don't Dance, baby. Oh, what a fun one. The killer, the weapon he uses and the way he does it is fucking evil. Oh, God, such a good movie. Unfortunately, some of these are pretty... now, actually, they're not that hard to find. They used to be, is what I was meaning to say. Yeah, they used to be impossible to find, and then, thank God, companies started putting them on DVD, Blu-rays. Another really super fun one from one of the creators of Mystery Science Theater 3000. This pack has 3 movies on it, but I am talking about Blood Hook, or should I say Blood Hook. Oh, musky madness, man. This is the reason, like, I've never seen this, like, this is one of my favorite reasons why someone's killing in a horror movie, like the slasher. What drives him to kill? The Diablos en Musica. You'll see if you watch this movie. It's just such a cool little idea for what sets a killer off. It's really cheap. It's a trauma film, so it's low budget. It's got it's one of the only movies that's in the 3s on IMDb that I genuinely think does not deserve to be anywhere near that. I think it should be up in at least the 5s. And I can see 4s, but 3s is pushing it. Blood Hook is such a fun movie. I have such a blast watching it every time I see it, so I don't know why it's so poorly rated. But it is. Anyway, moving on to yet another fantastic one, and this one's a little more known, as I said, but it's one that you just absolutely have to see, is Motel Hell. I thought I had this on Blu-ray. I'm pretty sure I do, but I couldn't find it just on a quick peek through. I swear I haven't, but anyway, you'll see me wearing the Motel Hell shirt. I have a decent amount in my videos. But yet another, I mean, pretty much what I think makes great slasher films to me is not only the kills, but the killer. Like their way that they're killing people, whether it's a specific, unique kind of weapon. And I'll get to one of those unique weapons, which is probably my favorite weapon in all of slasher films. I'm going to save that one for last. I'm going to put it right here to talk about it. But also, the way people are being killed within the film, if the killer's motives or his, MO or the way he does things, like those are the things that really get my attention, because slasher films are usually just, copy and paste. They're very much like, all right, bunch of teens, put them in the woods, put them in, whatever, and have someone stalk them in a POV cam and stab them to death or use it, whatever. And most of these films that I'm mentioning here have something unique to them, something that separates them from the laundry list of slasher films in the 80s. We don't really get slasher films anymore. It's almost a completely dead genre, especially like anything with a decent budget to it. And you don't need like millions of dollars to make a slasher film for sure, but the majority of slasher films I see these days are like throwback 80s type films that are done by guys around my age who grew up on the 80s horror movies and want to pay homage to them, but they have like a 6 cent budget. Now, some of them work really well and I love them. It's very rare though. Most of them I see, they're trying too hard to be cheesy. And what makes these movies great is that the majority of these were not trying to be cheesy. They just so happen to be in like a really fun way. And you just can't replicate something like that. You can't purposely be cheesy. I've seen it work, but so rarely that I don't even consider it. I consider it to be more a fluke. Like, okay, they just got lucky. They just got lucky that they were trying to be cheesy. Anyway. So yeah, Motel Hell, absolutely check it out. Farmer Vincent's fritters. Those are the best, man. It takes all types of critters to make Farmer Vincent's fritters, whatever. I can't speak. A trilogy of slasher films that I just adore and I highly recommend. This one I had to get in a bootleg because I can't find them. They haven't released them on DVD, to my knowledge. But yeah. The Sorority House Massacre, 1 through 3, 2 and 3 especially. Oh God, I love them so much. These are hilarious. They're fun. They're fucking, they got great kills. They have tons of gratuitous nudity. I love it. I love this series so goddamn much. Another really good one is Psycho Cop 2. I'm not a big fan of Psycho Cop 1, which I have on the flip side here. This is yet another bootleg because I can't find it anywhere. But Psycho Cop 2 is a blast. Psycho Cop 1 was pretty boring. I eventually will review probably all of these, but I'll probably knock out some of those. Now, getting into my favorite weapon ever used in a slasher film. There's nothing even close in my mind, and a lot of people will roll their eyes at this stupid movie, but I love this film and everything about it. Every character, every scene, every dumb song. Yes, song. A lot of music in this, a lot of musical elements. The Slumber Party Massacre 2. This weapon right here, that guitar. If I ever win the lottery, people, that would be the first thing I would try to acquire. People always ask, like, if you're ever in these movie groups, they'll ask, like, what's like the one prop you would want from a movie? And it's like instantaneously. It's like, I want the guitar drill from Slumber Party Massacre 2. God, I love it so much. It's so ridiculous. The film it's one of those movies where you're watching and you're like, how the fuck did this get made? And then you're like, I don't care because it's hilariously awesome. So yeah, that is the group. As you can see here, little quick tour, never done this before, but as you can see here, a lot of the movies that I have mentioned are in my posters up top, from Nightmare Beach up there, Don't Go in the House, Mutilator, Motel Hell, Tourist Trap, The Burning, which is a fantastic one, but I think that one's pretty obvious, Pieces, Blood Hook, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Best Nightmare, Blow Me. So yeah, anyway, yeah, I love the slasher genre, obviously, and those are some of the ones that I definitely wanted to share with you guys. So hopefully one day I'll definitely give maybe a little tour of this wall of death. So all right, guys, let me know if you've seen any of these. Let me know if you watch any of these on my recommendation, and especially, let me know if you liked them. And if you didn't like them, then don't tell me, because I don't want to feel bad. All right.